Hello folks, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about tips. Specifically, I made a video about tipping and tip etiquette for piercings a while back, and if you're curious about tipping your piercer, how much to tip, especially as it relates to piercing in America, go check out that video. But I talked about some of the really cool tips and really interesting tips I've received as a body piercer, and a lot of folks were interested to hear more about that. So we're going to talk about some of my favorite and most interesting and most unique tips I've received as a piercer ever today. I'd like to preface this by saying that tipping is always appreciated but never expected. You are not required to tip your piercer. I get into the nuance of tipping and tip culture in America, and also the fact that unfortunately a lot of studios rely on tips to pay their piercers a living wage, but I also talk about alternatives to tipping and other things that you can do if you can't afford to tip but you still want to get pierced. But today we're just going to talk about really thoughtful, really cool, and some really weird things that I have been given as tips as a piercer. The first two tips that stand out to me both happened while I was working in Florida, and one, just anytime anyone asks me the wildest thing I've been given a tip, my answer is always over 100 lemons. And I quite literally mean over 100 lemons. I'm not over exaggerating. I'm not literally so many lemons. The guy who's why can't I hold all these limes? That was me, but with lemons. I had a fantastic regular client of mine when I worked in Florida who, I guess on her family's property, they had lemon trees. That's a thing in Florida. There's just a lot of fruit trees everywhere. And she came in and she brought us a bunch of lemons as a tip. And honestly, knowing this client, I think partially it was to tip us because she really liked us, but partially it was because she was like, oh my God, we have so many lemons. What are we gonna do with them? So she was just giving them away to people. But she came in with 2 huge brown paper bags full of lemons and was like, I brought y'all some lemons. And don't get me wrong, we cooked with them. I loved them. Every last one of those lemons got eaten. We did not let those lemons go to waste. But good Lord, that 2 full, big brown paper shopping bags, that's a lot of lemons. I made lemon bars, I made limoncello, I made lemon jam, I made lemon cake, I made lemonade. We were just... If it was on the first page of Google results for recipes with lemons, I was making it. But it was legitimately so cool, and honestly, if anyone came into me with any quantity of homegrown fruit or food, I would be elated about it. I really love, for anyone who's wondering, I really love strawberries. So if you grow strawberries at home and you want to bring me 2 huge bags of strawberries, I'll never say no. But it's just, there's also that life gives you lemons joke, and just the fact that I have been tipped in an absolutely absurd quantity of, I was one of those math problems, y'all. The Miss Stacy goes to the store and buys 46 lemons and cooks with 23. There was literally so many lemons. But aside from that, my Florida clients are really just my most colorful, because I had another client in Florida, and this tip was not given to me, but it was given to my coworker Margot. I was there for the reception of the tip, so I feel like I can tell this story, but she was given a whip scorpion as a tip. Margot, who is the head piercer at Sweet Leaf Body Arts in Fort Lauderdale, and also my best friend, is an avid reptile, insect, bug critter person. She basically has a whole zoo at her house in Florida, and one of our clients knew that and also kept insects and arachnids, and ended up getting some extra whip scorpions. I forget the exact story, but somehow she ended up with more whip scorpions than she planned to. I don't know how this is something that happens to you in real life, but I guess it does. So she brought in a live whip scorpion to give to Margot as a tip. I was really afraid it was going to get out of its container in the store and I was going to lose my mind, but it did not. Margot brought it home. It had a nice life. Insects don't really live that long. At least I don't think. So she had it for a while. This was 5 or 6 years ago. It did eventually pass away, so I don't have any updated photos for you of the whip scorpion. But I just think it's so wild that Margot was given a scorpion as a tip, that I watched that happen, that someone brought a live scorpion in a container into the studio. It was a lot. I'm really grateful it didn't get out, honestly, thinking about it. I really don't know what I would have done. If you are planning on tipping your piercer in live animals, maybe tell them beforehand. Make sure they're very secure. Just do some due diligence on that front. But yes, a very alive whip scorpion is a tip that I've not personally received, but I've watched someone get. Speaking of animals, as some of you may or may not know, I own two really adorable cats, Sushi and Sashimi. They were both rescues. I got them both while I was living in Florida, and they're fantastic. And nothing makes me happier than when people tip me in cat toys and cat treats for them. They're my precious angel babies. I love them so much. And it makes me really excited to come home and like give them new toys and playthings. Someone actually crocheted me a really cute zombie bee that I don't think was intended to be a cat toy, but Sushi really likes it. So it has become one of her toys now, and I promise I tried to keep it away from her, but it is what it is, and it's hers now, and who am I to take away her joy of dragging around this zombie bee in the house, honestly. Speaking of crocheted things, very recently on one of my guest spots to Nashville, one of my good regulars from when I worked in Nashville crocheted me this cute little vampire penis. Knowing obviously that I do a lot of genital piercing work, and that's a passion of mine, and all that other stuff, this is so cute and has been living with my so if anyone ever tips me or gives me any cool item, I just want you all to know that I keep it forever, and I have a little like keepsake box with all of my things in it. But then I have a couple things that just really make me smile or laugh when I look at them, and those I kind of keep out in a little area in my room, and this is living there proudly and happily. It makes me chuckle every time I see it, and it's just so on brand. I love it. Speaking of more thoughtful gifts that I keep out, I have a very small silk scarf that a really, really phenomenal regular of mine gave to me that was like hand dyed, I think with like turmeric or like some kind of organic dye. And it's just this small little square scarf, the kind of thing you'd tuck in like a suit pocket or something, but the client was just a really, really phenomenal client and friend, and we'd done a lot of very intimate gender affirming work for them, and honestly, the process of doing their piercings and sharing space with them was so instrumental in me coming to terms with my own gender transition, and the thoughtfulness of this hand-dyed, like hand-processed piece of silk and the memories that it carries of my interactions and my relationship with that client are really beautiful, and it's always just a reminder every time I see it to be my most authentic self, and that lives on like, I don't want to say like a little shrine, but a little area near where I meditate and take my time in my room in the morning, along with some other really like sentimental objects of mine, and it's just such a good reminder to like be my best self every day, and that's one of the more sentimental gifts that I've received, and it's like hard to even talk about without getting teary, so I'm just a big softie. You may have seen this in my recent videos. I have some other knickknacks in it, but I stab people. Come on, this mug could not be cuter. This is from 5-7. It's a body jewelry display company that's really phenomenal. I'm obsessed with their displays, but I got to pierce one of the people who work for that company, Amanda, and she brought me this little mug that says I stab people, and obviously I really loved it because it's been living here in my YouTube filming space. It really makes me smile, and I just love it. As many people know, I love like gemstones and jewelry and like anything with rocks, so a lot of clients have brought me like little rocks and little pieces. I have a tiny collection of them here sitting on this little shelf in my filming area with like cool different stones clients have given me, and then the rest I have in like a little keepsake box where I keep like any notes a client has ever written me. I've been given a lot of artwork and illustrations, and I love that. It's so special to have like a piece of someone's artwork and all this other stuff. a lot of stuff that I've been given has like personalized notes or messages on it. So I'm not going to show it on camera because I do want to respect the privacy of the clients who gave me these things, but know that I love and cherish them and I have them with me always. I don't think I have a picture of it, but someone actually crocheted a doll of me, and it's literally so cute. This wasn't a client, this was a follower of mine on TikTok, and it makes me melt every time I see it. I used to have it displayed in my old piercing room, and now I have it tucked away in storage until I have a full-time piercing room again, but it's precious. But that's just kind of a little brief overview of some of like my favorite tips I've gotten in recent memories, or some of the ones that really stand out to me. I mean, come on, like, again, over 100 lemons. How are you gonna overshadow that? If someone comes in and tips me in 200 lemons, I'm like literally gonna cry. I'm not gonna know what to do with it. How are you gonna overshadow that, you know? As much as I would appreciate it, please do not attempt to overshadow that by giving me like 200 lemons. I'm not gonna know what to do with it. But if you give me an appropriate amount of fruit or vegetables, I'll be stoked. But those are just some really cool, really interesting, and also really sweet and sentimental tips that I've received in my time as a piercer. Like I said, anytime anyone gives me anything, I keep it in like a little keepsake box. Again, a lot do have personal messages, so I don't want to like betray the privacy of the clients who gave me those things, but if y'all want to see me do like a little bit more of a detailed rundown of some of the sweet things that I've been given anonymously, let me know if that's something y'all would care to hear about. Other than that, thanks for sitting down and hanging out with me and talking about weird, cool, fun tips. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like the content that I put out, please hit like and subscribe. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Bye!